I'm Dave D, and you're watching XP Team USA.
Good evening, everybody. It's Thursday, it's 8 o'clock, and it's Dave Sadler here with the Big Detecting TV show. Welcome, one and all, and it's been a most peculiar week in the world of metal detecting. We've had ups, we've had downs, and we're going to have a look at what's going on in them on the Big Metal Detecting Show Facebook page. So I'll get straight to it, and I will share the screen, Mr. Higgins, if that's okay. And we will click on over to the Big Metal Detecting Show Facebook page. Oh, message off Alex Savage. Good evening, Alex. So, for those of you who haven't seen this week, we've had, well, first and foremost, Treasure Hunting Magazine is on sale, the August edition now, with what looks like Mr. Adrian Gayler on the front, with his very own tactical jacket on. Somebody stood off the edge of a cliff and took that photograph. Anyway, yes, so the main news this week is, sadly, historic England thefts. 2 more people held over stolen artifacts. Quite a few number. 6 people have now been arrested as part of night hawking, basically, in protected heritage sites in northern England at Beeston Castle in Cheshire, which is not far away from me and tonight's guest, and Roche Abbey in South Yorkshire. Items dating back 4,000 years have been seized as part of the probe, including Bronze Age axe heads, Roman and medieval coins, and other objects. These are currently being analysed by a portable antiquity scheme and archaeologists from historic England. When you don't need any bad news in the subject, what comes along after last year's Viking malarkey and all the bloody other daftness than this? So the few people have been arrested, as we say, and let's hope we get what's coming to them. In fact, if you look now, this is actually a video taken by the police actually going on the raids. This was released by Cheshire Police. Operation Roundhouse, a nice archaeological name there. Well, I don't know personally, but was that a bit of overkill? Could they not have knocked on the door and said, "Can I come in, please?" We've had some much needed information come out from the National Council of Metal Detecting. Big ups to the National Council of Metal Detecting for the work that they're doing behind the scenes. Obviously, they're trying to get ourselves, the members, all the information as soon as they can from the governing bodies, the government and everything that's below that. They've confirmed from the Department of Digital Culture, Media and Sports, though that groups of up to 30 people from different households meeting on a dig will no longer be illegal. Whilst the governments are still advising groups should be kept to 6 or less wherever possible, they have confirmed that the legal limit has been extended to include outside activities such as ours. Obviously, social distancing rules must be adhered to and events must be COVID-19 secure. They've been in regular contact with the DDCMS over the last few weeks, lobby for loosening restrictions in the hobby, and have put forward a strong case for detectors to be allowed to attend digs in larger numbers than the new 30 people limit. The case has accepted and shared to the cross-department committee, who are deciding which activities will be exempt from the new limits on group numbers. They thought that they would have news by now, but they're still waiting details to the change of legislation down from the 4th of July. So we're awaiting, obviously, further details from them. A lady in Australia, first time out detecting, found 14 extremely valuable gold coins. More good weekend finds from Mark Dakin Sr. We'll go through some stunning looking bits and bobs from Mark. That's fantastic. Oh, it's a Volkswagen ring. So thanks to Mark for sharing them, and obviously anybody else who would like their finds to be shown on the show, just put him in a post on the Big Metal Detecting Show Facebook page, and we'll get to them. There's been updates and the new information regarding Detecticon from Scotty B. Excuse me. Latvian group Legenda told to cease and desist in search for lost RN personnel. So they do a lot of metal detecting and bring a lot of things back to families and such like regarding the wars, but they've been told not to by the archaeological organisation over in that country. Just want to show you this. This lovely little... It's like it is a feather. Gallus, King Archaeological, the statue there, and this is what he gave me, and it's absolutely stunning. It's painted in pewter from the original grey, so there you go. A few more bits. These are from Sky Jackson. Well done, Sky. And Dean asks that any chance could be a Roman gaming counter. Information from the Rodney Cook Memorial Rally. Basically, lots of different speculations and opinions, and they're still basically waiting to see what happens before announcing if it will be on or not. So there's your news and views and interviews from the week, and stupidity from people going night hawking. When will these people learn? I don't know. and I'm sure each and every one of you in the chat room here will agree with me and say they're idiots and they're spoiling the hobby for all of us. So anyway, without further ado, let's introduce tonight's guest. Tonight we introduce Tom Wood. Tommy Wood. He's going to tell me if it's Tom or Tommy, who is from the YouTube channel Cheshire Metal Detecting. Good evening, Tom. Or Tommy. Oh, we've got no sound at the moment. Can you hear me, Tom?
Yeah, it's coming in and out.
Here he is. We're back again. Right. How are you? Is it Tom or Tommy?
Whatever. Just don't call me too early. You know, that's the usual thing, isn't it?
So, Tom, for people who don't know you from the YouTube channel and the Northwest of Metal Detecting, can you introduce yourself, please?
Well, you know my name, obviously. Originally from Liverpool. Lived in Winsford since 1967. Started metal detecting, and then after a few years I thought I'll start a YouTube channel. And that's what I did. Started a YouTube channel. And I've gone on from there, sort of. I don't go for subs that much, because for one good reason is if you've got 3,000-4,000 subs, you're getting a couple of hundred comments on a video. I'm not the type of person who'll just put a little heart on a comment. I like to talk to people. If they've spent the time doing, a 10-line comment, why should I give a little heart or a little thank you? So I like to have a chat with them. Can you still hear me, Dave? Or have you gone to sleep? I think you've gone to sleep, Dave. Yeah, so I wish you'd come back and help us out here, Dave.
I'm going to text my daughter to get her to turn the internet off in case it's her that's the issue. It's a problem. One of us, myself, yourself, or Luke, has got some internet problems somewhere. So I'm trying to get my daughter off the internet upstairs in case and it's me. So
can you hear me?
Moving on. So how long have you been metal detecting? Yes, pal, I certainly can. How long have you been metal detecting, Tom?
I've been detecting in total maybe 10 years, something like that. But I've only had a YouTube channel 5-6 years. You've gone again now, Dave.
Oh,
well, there you are. You've gone over there now.
I think Luke's just trying to get everything right to see if he can get everything running, and he'll probably have to stop the comments coming through in a moment. We'll have to pull the comments off the screen to see if that's the issue, because sometimes that takes up a lot of the stream. So bandwidth, yeah. A lot of people know you, Tom. We've got a lot of people who are saying some quite nice things about you in the comments. We've got
makes a change.
There's Adam Weedle, South Coast Detecting, Scott Oldham from Detector Network, Adrian Gaylor, Bob Hope, Andy Jones, Rob Random, William Hargreaves. Good evening, William. Hope you're well. Dominique Tomczech. That was the Scouse version of a Polish name then. Rob Random, Scotty B, Lewis DeFeo, Steve Northwest, Steve Pettican, Keith DeFazio. So good evening to each and everyone in there anyway. Any questions you do have throughout the evening for Tom, just give me a shout. So in your time metal detecting, Tom, what machines have you used?
You know what? I can't remember the first one, but it was rubbish. I know that. And then I went from a rubbish one. Oh, what was it? I think I went to a Garrett. You've gone off now.
No, it's just you on your own. Just concentrating on you for a bit.
No, the screen went blank. It must have been me. Yeah, then I think the best this machine, or the first deer one I got, was the E-Track.
Yeah.
But the only trouble with that, I'm not a big bloke. I needed three of us to carry it. You know what I mean? It was a heavy bloody machine. And then I tried the Deus. But I happened to have a friend at the time who had a Deus. And always forever saying, oh, try this program, do this, do that with it, do this. And, every time we went out. So in the end, I thought, I can do without this. So I got rid of the Deus, and I got the Garrett 400i, and I put the Mars 15-inch coil on it. And that was a brilliant machine until he got one. But I stuck with that one. I thought, no, you're not frightening me off this one. So, yeah, and then what have I got now? I've got the Equinox 600, but I'm going to try out the Garrett Apex. I've got that on order and give that a run. It's a lighter machine,
Well, it certainly looks good. It's got some good reviews at the moment, Tom. I know Digger Dawn says it's quite good, and the lads from Anaconda, Tim and George from what was the program called? The American Diggers. Right. They've been using it as well, and there's been some good feedback on it up to now. So yeah, it looks like it's going to be another decent machine on the market. To be fair. So, in your time metal detecting, Tom, I'm sure you've had a plethora of finds. What would be the most standout of the metal detecting finds that you've had?
Well, really, in where I am, Cheshire, it's not known as a great place for finds, actually, unless you go to Beeston Castle like them numpties did. But no, I had a gold sovereign, only a Vicky. I had a cracking Lizzie Ahmed sixpence, and that was on a field. There's a farm close to me, but it's clay. The field is clay, drops on it. So how can I put it? It doesn't get ploughed a lot because it mostly has cattle on it. It's probably like that in the past. It just had cattle on. And when I dug that up, it was near enough in mint condition because it hadn't been, moved about over time, getting ploughed and all that. But to me, any find with a bit of history is a good find. It hasn't got to be valuable find. Like I just done a video on Cheshire metal detecting. Get the pun in there. Get me thing in. And it was on the love token. About, we find these love tokens and we go out to love token, we stick it in our box or whatever. And that's it, we forget about it. So I've done a video on them, looking at what they meant to people in the time. Most people couldn't read or write. So that was the only way they could, sort of they might have been embarrassed or shy. So they just, give a girl a love token and see what happens, sort of. I mean, they can't text or, on a phone or nothing then. And so anything that's historical. And when I was looking into the love tokens, I found out something else. The love tokens went on, and then in the Victorian times, you had the convict tokens that relate to the love tokens. So, someone got sent to Australia for a crime like digging at Beeston Castle, and they used to, do a similar thing, but if there wasn't bent coins, there were flat coins, they rub them smooth and put onto the mother or father or the brothers, the sisters, the loved ones and all that. So they were like love tokens before they went and spent how many years in Australia. So yeah, so any find for me is a good find as long as it's got a bit of history with it.
Yeah. So you get out and about as well. I know you've been out. I take it with John and Jackie, John Titchin and Jackie Smith, and the Jones quite regularly in the past.
No, because I had a few problems with my knee and knee replacements and all stuff like that, and I got out with John and Jackie, invited them over to Permission of Man, and then after that we met at a rally, and that was it really. But I've been saying to John and Jackie, I'll definitely get out this year. I'm still suffering with my legs and all that, but I'm definitely going to get out. Because, they're nice people, and it makes it a better experience, obviously, when you're surrounded by nice people.
Absolutely. Luke's just showed a shot of your Cheshire Metal Detecting YouTube page, and you've gone up 2 subscribers since we started. You're nearly on 1,000. Right, if you're listening and you're not a subscriber, subscribe, because even though he doesn't want your subscriptions, I want to see that at 1,000 before the end of the show. So come on, subscribe. There you go, Tom. Bullying people.
It'd be nice. But just warn anyone who subscribes to me, if they put a comment on a video, I can talk for England. Sometimes they get a book back,
War and Peace by Tommy Ward.
Yeah.
We've had a... Sorry, carry on, Tom.
I was just saying, though, that I didn't think, personally, I was that well liked. I know I've got some good friends on YouTube and all that, because I've got a habit of speaking my mind, Dave, I think it's the part of the country that I come from, You say what you feel. You don't say what you think other people are like, sort of. So I think I lost a few subs through that, but that's me. And, the way I look at it, we're all grown men and women and all that. You can't take criticism or anything like that, then, why bother?
You totally agree. We're nearly there, Tom. We're on 997 now. Come on, 3 more people. I want to see 1,000. And Andrew Jones has asked me to get his subs up to 190, and he'd be grateful. So I'm going to actually finally get Andy on the show sooner rather than later, I hope. And me and Andy will have a good chat, because
he's a good lad, Andy.
Oh, he is. When I ran the Rochdale digs that I'd done for the Mayor of Rochdale, Andy was there for each and every one of them, and I went on one of his digs as well in Frodsham a few years ago, so won't have a word said against him.
No. He's a nice lad.
He is. He'll say him enough about himself. So, have you been out since the lockdown ended, Tommy?
No, I thought about it. I actually got in contact with the local MP, and I said, look, you're talking about social distancing. I said, me in Middlefield with a couple of cows, you can't get much more than social distancing than that. And the reply I got back was, well, the government's advice, blah, 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 is, well, not very clear, but it seems that you'd be okay to, go out and do some metal detecting because you're not round anyone. So I didn't go out, though, because I put this on YouTube, mentioned it on YouTube, and you got some people saying, oh, no, that's wrong, you shouldn't go out. And I thought, well, if I go out, I could have gone out quietly, put it that way, without doing a video and putting it up on YouTube. But I enjoy that part, putting a video on YouTube, even when I don't find nothing, which is 99.999% of the time. But, what's that? South Coasty cut Tommy as a leg end?
Somebody asked earlier, do you know the Beatles?
How old do you think I am? No, New Liberace, but not...
And obviously,
No, I actually seen the Beatles in Liverpool. I've gone off again. At the town hall, I was about 12 or 10. They'd just come back from somewhere, probably America, somewhere like that. They were on the balcony at the town hall.
Yeah.
And I remember I was stood on a windowsill, like of this building and all that. But I've never met them. You know, if I did, like, I bet I wouldn't get a pint off them. But no, I've got no claims to
I actually met Paul McCartney once. My brother used to be a milkman, supervisor, so he used to fill in whenever anyone was off. And this particular day, we're in the countryside doing all down the lanes and what have you, from Neston down. So we're pottering about, and we end up. He's like Mike McCartney's house, that, you know, not flying pickets, Lily the Pink, etc., etc. It's like, what the hell it is? Anyway, I go to the door. That's it, the scaffold. I put the milk on the doorstep of his house. I come up and the door starts opening. I think, it's got to be Mike. It was Paul McCartney staying at his brother's house. I was like, hiya, Paul McCartney. I went back to the thing, you know, I just met Paul McCartney. No, you haven't. He's just answered the door for the milk. Right, if you're not listening, if you haven't been listening and you're new on, go to his channel. This is Tommy Wood, his channel, Cheshire Metal Detecting. We need one more subscriber to make it 1,000. So come on, one of yous, go on there, Cheshire Metal Detecting, subscribe. It's 1,000. Have it. You've been told. Or come round your house and eat your food. And Tommy will drink your brews.
And the goldfish for the hamster.
I'll eat the goldfish. That was Freddie Starr.
Yeah.
So, what I wanted to speak to you about tonight, and one of the people in the chat room, William Hargreaves, I'm hoping to have William on in the coming weeks because he's been doing a lot of the background work regarding this particular topic. And obviously, I think it's a topic that everybody has, unfortunately, been privy to, and it's one of the banes of the metal detectorist life, and that's green waste. And you made a video not long ago, Tommy, and obviously I watched the video in full, and you were put into communication with me. So, green waste. Let's talk about that, and you tell us what the YouTube video you were talking about.
Well, actually, I made a mistake on that. It's all right. I'm not going to ruin your program, Dave. Well, what I said, the food waste, you know, what we put out and all that, what happens to it, and does it get contaminated and go on, you know, the farm fields and all that. Well, I contacted Cheshire West and Chester. That's my local, my council, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And this is what I got back off them. And scrubbed a bit out and all that. But it's basically, I mean, I won't read that because the show's not that long, I don't think. But it's the process the food waste goes through. Gets put into a sealed tank. I'll just run through it quickly. Into a sealed tank. Stuff's added to it. Water's added to it. Gets broken down. Mesophilic bacteria are added to the soup. They call it the soup when they add the water to it. I wouldn't like to taste it, it goes through a heat exchange, and this is, you know, amazing thing what she sent me. And basically it produces methane, and a lot of the methane is siphoned off and goes onto the national grid as electricity. You use the methane to make electricity, and it goes on the national grid. And what's left at the end is a liquid, and that is what it gets used as a fertilizer, this liquid. So I thought, right, well, if it's not that, what else is it then? and it's sludge. I hope no one's having to say just now. Sludge is basically human byproduct. In other words, it's
it's the stuff from the tanks down at like Freckleton Marsh and that, all the sludge, all the crap that's left over.
It's the sewage, basically, right? That goes through a process probably similar to the food one. I haven't got that obviously because some people answered me, some didn't. Okay. And what you're left with is that stuff we see on the fields, them black heaps.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what is the byproduct after they've processed all the, the human waste sort of. And I'll just read this out to you. This, while I was searching, this was on the, unearthed.greenpeace.org site. And it says, Secret Environment Agency report finds sewage sludge destined for English fields contaminated with microplastics, weed killer and persistent organic pollutants. And then it says, revealed salmonella, toxic chemicals and plastic found in sewage spread on farmland. So it's not just about us and metal detecting. There's other stuff in it that is not doing, obviously, the land any good. And I'll just mention it was Crispin Dowler and Zach Boren were the reporters on that. And if you want to, I didn't know how to do a link or anything like that. So if you go to unearthed.greenpeace.org, that's easy to remember, isn't it? unearthed.greenpeace.org. And if you just put in the little search box there, if you put in salmonella, that one should come up. And it's a long read though, and there's a little video on it from a woman, but she was more worried about the smell than anything else, which, you can't help it if you're putting that stuff on your fields, it's going to smell, but it's a real good read. So that's that. And as I say, I got an email back from Unearthed Greenpeace, and she's given me a lot of organisations and that to contact. Got the Environmental Law Foundation. That's the one. You've got it up there. I've got Client Earth.
Secret Environmental Agency. Sorry, Tommy.
Yeah. I've got clientearth.org, campaignstrategy.org, Council for Protection of Rural England, your local Friends of the Earth group. There's quite a bit she sent me, which I thought was great. And she actually said, we got a lot of sort of, hi Tom, thanks for getting in touch. It's always great to hear from people who are passionate about protecting the environment like yourself. And it goes on to say that they get a lot of questions. I'm sure you can imagine that Greenpeace, you don't mind me reading this bit here.
Certainly not. It's entirely what you want to do, mate. I'm
sure that you can imagine that Greenpeace are asked to help with or support a huge range of campaigns by our supporters all over the globe. And it's very rare that we're able to get directly involved. But I'd like to help how I can. And so here are some suggestions and all that. So I say that's from Greenpeace. And she gave me all them basically web addresses to go through. But the thing is, basically I'm a one-man band. I can't tap up stuff like that on my own. It's near enough impossible. All I can do is sort of annoy people. I'm good at that. And, like not so much the council now, but probably get onto the sewage works and see what's happening with them. Because I think what happens when they're left with that product at the end, I think third parties come in then. Now, for all we know, they could be loading it on their wagons, say, right, we'll take it to the farms. They could be stopping somewhere else. I say, right, have you got any of all that metal you wanted to get rid of? Yeah, mix it in with this and we'll get rid of it for you. Anywhere to make an extra few bob. So that's what I think's happening. Can't prove it, but that's what I think is happening.
I'll certainly put you in communication with William Hargreaves from the NCMD. He's been doing a lot of work regarding green waste. He's some of the information I've listened to him giving out. It's staggering the amount of things that are going on. There's also the likes of I forget the name. Basically making chipboard and such like, and MDF things.
Yeah.
And scrapping it all up, mulching it all together, and obviously there's copious amounts of pieces of metal within that, and that's being spread on land as well. I went on to an organised dig last year, Tommy, and it was suggested, this is fantastic site, it's absolutely brilliant. We've only been on here once before, loads was found, it's been ploughed and everything since, and I was quite excited, so I was tipped to go right over the back to the far end, and there was nothing but green waste, bits of crap, bits of the little metal things that are in your cupboards that your pin goes into. Yeah. Everywhere, absolutely everywhere. There was crap everywhere, and it was just from an absolutely perfect metal detecting weather-wise, and the people I was with, it was fantastic, but it was just destroyed by the fact that there was green waste was there. So, listen, Tommy. We're gonna have a little break now, a few minutes while you can have another cigarette, and we'll be back shortly.
All right, Dave. I'll see you in a minute.
All right, pal. So we're still here, so I will fill the airtime. Looking forward to our guests coming up in the coming week. We have Chris Bailey from Diggers Dips next week, which is a prized draw site for metal detectorists. And I'm still here. Luke's still not there. And the week after that, we have, I haven't got it written down. I do apologise. But it's one of the representatives and organisers of Celtic Stag metal detecting group on Facebook. I'll give you the full information shortly after the break.
I'm Dave D, and you're watching XP Team USA.
Good day. Welcome back. Andy Jones has just contacted me, and it jarred my memory. I've got my phone for some reason set with subtitles for when I'm watching YouTube, and it's brilliant watching some of the videos I've been watching with the subtitles at the bottom. Obviously, the computers don't make many of the words perfectly, and with me and Tommy's broad accents, it's Andy saying there's some fantastic. So Tommy, you're going to have to go back after the show and watch it with your subtitle comments on, because absolutely piddle funny. So yeah, have a look at that, Tom. That'll be have a laugh for you. But Andy's messaged me on the inbox and he's laughing his head off at it. So some people have been commenting on the show. Dave and Tommy, this is off Andy. I asked for a permission recently and mentioned as that black soil. I won't have it in there. Is needles and all kinds in it. John Williams says years ago it used to be dumped out of the sea. Mersey estuary from a sludge ship operated by United. Paul Bancroft says it's a shame to call it green waste. Contaminated is better. Luke was making a cuppa, Pentagon thought, and he let it happen all the time. Roy, I've just drunk, and it was absolutely fantastic, and there's absolutely everything on there is perfect, and I don't think he'd have anything on there either, but I might see it in the fields one day and give you a wave. A few others, Andy Sampson, Indiana Tones, good evening there. Scottish Relics, Metal Detecting, good evening there. There you go. That's all up to date on the live comments. But Tommy, as I say, if you watch the show back on YouTube and put the subtitles on, it's a lot of fun. So anyway, we'll crack on. Where were we at, Tom?
Well, actually, it's not called just green waste. Green waste is basically stuff that's not contaminated. What we're talking about is contaminated green waste, if you know what I mean. That's where people often say, "Oh, it's green waste on the field." It's not. It's contaminated green waste. If it was just green waste, it'd be fine. And
I'm with you.
I come up with a little thing. I'd like to get some of these made, but it cost me a fortune. I might get a few made. And this is it. I don't know if you can see that. SOS.
Up a bit. There you go.
SOS, Save Our Soil. Because it's not just about the metals in it. You know, that concerns us as metal detectors. But also, I read something that maybe in 50 years' time, the soil would be unusual with the contaminants that's going into it. And it won't affect us. We'll all be well gone by then. But our grandkids, our great-grandkids, you know, they could be facing basically a food shortage because of the land being unsuitable for growing food.
Yeah.
And then you've got the cattle eating the grass that's growing on these fields. You just don't know what's in the future. And,
well, as you just said about the cattle eating stuff, obviously the crops that grow are obviously going to be picking stuff up as well. And it's going to be a vicious cycle where things are going to end up in our own bodies via eating the harvest and by eating the cattle and such like as well. William Hargreaves says toxic green waste.
Yeah, toxic.
The article that keeps popping up is one on our website, which I think, if I remember correctly, was written by John Wells of the MCMD for us. You can pop onto the website, arcmdmag.com, and you'll find that in the metal detecting article section under metal detecting. So sorry again, Tommy. I digress
Yeah,
again.
it's all right. You're just breaking up a bit there. I thought you said John Wayne.
John Wells.
Oh, that because you broke up just. I thought it's John Wayne. Well, if we can get him on board, we're laughing, aren't we? Uh, yeah, but it's a big concern, really. It's not just because it's like anything. If you run a shop and you let a kid come in and pinch one sweet, you think, oh, it's only a sweet. But it'll soon build up, and then loads of kids come in pinching sweets and all that. And that's what's going to happen. If we let them get away with it and keep getting away with it, it's just going to get worse. It won't get better unless we stand up and say, well, we're not having it. We'll have to get that Richard Attenborough on it. And I mean, he campaigned about the plastic waste in the oceans and all that, which is fair enough. But he was using, fish caught in plastic waste and all that type of thing, animals and, basically marine life. And that played on people's emotions, where you start saying, well, the waste going on the land, well, it's not harming no one. You know what I mean? They look at it differently.
Yeah.
Because there's no animal, well, there is actually. Animals will be affected by it, by birds, rabbits, all wildlife will be affected by it eventually. Yeah. But at the moment, we can't show them no sort of animals, died because of this or died because of that. So it's going to be a hard job to get people, ordinary people, not just detectorists, housewives and stuff like that, get them interested. Yeah, we are what we eat. Yeah, that's true. We could end all up plastic.
A lot of women are these days. Detector networks.
You said that, Dave, not me.
Detector network. Scott Holden, he said, we'd love to support the cause on the Detector network. Get in touch and we'll help you get set up. That is basically it's Facebook for metal detectorists. It's the easiest way. We had Scott on a few weeks ago. While you're here, Scott, can you give me an answer? Is the Android app successfully released as of yet? While you're chatting away there. Les Heisman, he said he spoke to a farmer that uses it. He said it's good for the fields and wasn't fussed about it. He lost 500 acres to that, and it had a Raymond Villa on it. Shame. Sadly, that is the case. And obviously, more and more farmers are using it because they get paid to use it. And, hey, money talks.
But the thing is, I understand that. And I'm not having to quote the farmers. If it's saving them money, obviously they're going to do it. But at least say, well, yeah, I'll have it, but I don't want the crap in it. I'll have the waste. I'll have the green waste, the normal green waste, but don't put no crap in it. I mean, it's like ordering a bloody curry, innit? And it comes out and it's got a load of crap in it. Hang on, I didn't order that, Well, it's free. I don't care. I don't want that crap in it. And so I understand the farmers. They've got to survive. And, if they can save a few bob here and there, I understand. But just stipulate, don't want the crap in it.
Yeah. Two things, Tommy. Firstly, your YouTube channel is now surpassed 1,000. Oh. So happy days there.
Only took 5 years.
And the bad news is, Liverpool are losing 2-0 and Sterling has scored one of the goals.
Well, it doesn't matter now, does it?
Thankfully, we're chatting here and not watching there. Yeah, they're not going to catch us now.
No.
Hello to all the Liverpool fans in the chat room. Goodbye to all the Man United fans in the chat room. So, where are you going next, Tommy? With all the information that you've gathered, what's next for you as part of your research and whatnot?
Well, it's not so much the research; it's about getting people on board. You know what I mean? I drafted up a letter, and I put it on put it on that video, the one I done about the contaminated green waste. And all people had to do was check the spelling, because I think I spelt a few words wrong, and then post it off to your local MP. I mean, can you imagine there's how many bloody MPs in the House? I don't know, the House of Commons. But imagine if they all got an email or a few emails of people saying we're concerned about contaminated green waste. Obviously, they're like a group of any people, they talk, and they're going to say, well, hang on, what's going on here? There's that many people contacting us about it. I think we need to look into it. And that's all it takes. They're the ones who make decisions. We can't make decisions, but we can push them to make decisions. I think you've gone again now, Dave, but no.
I'm here.
Yeah, so
one of the things that we were looking at in the past, and we didn't quite get there because the wording had to be correct, the information had to be correct, and obviously everything had to be correct, basically. We were going to start one of the government campaigns to get X amount of people before the government will actually discuss all of this contaminated waste at government level. So perhaps it's about time that we work along with yourself and William Hargreaves, etc., and try and get something in place where this campaign can be highlighted a little bit more, because there's still a lot of people who are off work or furloughed, people who come across this at a daily basis. And obviously the campaign should also raise awareness to people who don't realise exactly what's going on in the fields that we do, because we're there first and foremost, and we're the ones who are picking through it. I mean, let's just say, for instance, some of this contaminated waste is on the field. We go detect it the next day. We don't know what bacteria are lying there when we're digging, leptospirosis or anything we could gain. And I know there's a lot of dirt and muck in fields anyway, but if we are digging through this waste, there is potential risk of health issues directly for ourselves. So Luke's put on the chat room that microplastics have been found in humans. Scary stuff.
That's right, yeah.
Jet Ski John once went on a field about 10 years ago full of used condoms and Tampaxes. It was waste farmer was paid for to dump on his land by the water board.
That's it.
We've all had experiences.
Yeah. So, but the thing is,
Adrian Gaylor once found a dildo in a field.
Well, there's no answer to that, really, is there? But the batteries were knackered. Anyway. No, the thing is, we've got to target the right people. If we just target metal detectorists, we won't. Is it 100,000 petition you have to have?
Yeah.
On that government thing?
I think it is, yeah.
I'm sure it's 100,000, I think. If we just target metal detectorists, we'll never get 100,000. So we've got to sort of edge away from the metal detecting and more on the health risks to ordinary people. Mm-hmm. Like there was, I'm not sure if it was in that report from Unearthed Greenpeace or it was on something else I was reading. But they said, well, people walk on farmland, take the dogs for a walk and stuff like that. Dogs, they're always rummaging about and all that. They can come home. He comes home, the dog and all that. It runs to one of the kids, jumps up, licks the child's face and all that. And, that child could end up with salmonella or anything, And that's what we've got to put across. It's not so much the metal in it. If we can get rid of the other contaminants in it, the metal and all the other stuff will follow. But the main thing is, I think, on the health issue, that's where we've got to be looking, I think.
Yeah, I think you're right. I mean, bringing the likes of, and I'm just saying it as a for instance, bringing the likes of Greenpeace into the fold, or I don't know, again, William's been working with different organisations, so and they aren't metal detected related. So to bring other people into the fold would generate more awareness. Lee Hersman said, could we get the portable antiquities scheme on board?
Yeah.
There's potential for everything. The Department for Culture and Sport, the DDCMS, I think I've got that right, again, would also be a valuable commodity too, because they look out for people who are hikers and such, like walkers, because they themselves will be also crossing the same fields, if not more than ourselves, because they obviously have a right of way where we have to have permission. So, there's a vast amount of people that you could target just to sign the name. I'm sure it would, if it was done correctly with the right wording, as I said, because I think something like this has to be worded correctly. There can't be any mistakes because of what the overall scope of it is.
Yeah, they need someone who's into that type of stuff that, can word it correctly. Maybe, I don't know, someone who, you never know, people, an amateur book writer or someone in a newspaper who knows how to put things together. I mean, I know how to, I can botch something up, but I wouldn't be able to put it, as you say, in the correct way. And that's got to be done, obviously, for like legal reasons, because you can't sort of, what do you call it, slander someone or slander a company or whatever. So it'd have to be done in the correct way.
Absolutely.
And probably by the right person. But all I'm trying to do is push. I'm right at the back, babe.
Yeah.
And, I'm just nudging forward. And as I'm nudging forward a bit, I'm hoping that others nudge forward a bit. And
kick someone else up the arse.
Stupid way to put it, like, but,
Yeah. Andy Jones, he's asked me to mention one of the groups that he set up on Facebook, and it's called Plastic Warriors Group. And he set that up, obviously, the amount of plastic, the bushes on land, etc., and he started to try and get people moving a little bit more in picking some rubbish up when they're out and about. So that's the Plastic Warriors Facebook group, if you'd like to have a look for that. And he's also needing willing admins on there to help out and about on there. Jetski John says, my opinion on this, as much as people sign petitions or groups against it, unfortunately, money talks in his opinion, a lost cause being straight and truthful. Maybe so, John, but at least if we can raise awareness, there's so many people that don't realise what's going on, don't realise the health implications, and perhaps changing the mind of one, it might be somebody, that one person might be the one person that you need to change the mind. There might be somebody in authority, so fingers crossed that person would see it.
I mean, look what Sir Richard Attenborough has done for the plastics, and the oceans and all that. So, as you said, the right person, you've got the right person on board, and they knew the risks to their children and to the future, the grandchildren, the great-grandchildren, all that. And I think we need, as you say, a figurehead, maybe. Where we're going to get one of them. But you never know. Fred down the road knows someone and he knows someone and blah, blah, blah. That's the way things work, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. So for the time being, obviously, yourself will just continue doing what you're doing, getting more information together, raising people's awareness. And as I said, hopefully I'll be able to put you in communication with William Hargreaves, and perhaps a campaign of sorts can emanate from this.
Yeah, but all you've got to do is every time someone makes a video on YouTube, metal detector, just mention it.
Yeah. And
then if he's got 30 comments, views on his YouTube, them 30 can mention it and so forth, That's how things snowball in it through word of mouth.
Yeah.
No, I'll have to get the barbers. Got a head like a base mattress. Uh,
Got an head like Birkenhead.
yeah,
Tom's lockdown haircut.
yeah, bloody hell, you can say that again.
So William's actually said in the chat room he'd be glad to have a chat with you, Tommy. So as I said, I'll send you each other's emails.
Yeah, it's just come up there now, yeah.
So as I say, listening to what William says, I've been engrossed in the information, and he's been to quite a high level with it as well to gather the information. So I think obviously something we all need to do, to be honest, not just for ourselves as metal detectorists, but for everyone.
Yeah, but the thing is, Dave, I mean, this is what I mean about me talking straight. Unfortunately, metal detectorists, like a lot of other hobbyists and all that, if there's a problem, they open them out, but they want someone else to do the work, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
They complain about it. Oh, went on a field, it was full of, toxic or contaminated green waste and blah, 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 blah. Moan about it while you're trying to have a quiet pint or something. But they won't do nothing about it. And that's what you've got to change. You've got to change the mental attitude of people. No good hoping somebody else does it. Basically, get off your ass and do something about it.
Yeah.
Even if it's right now.
As Indiana Tone says, inspiring and education helps more than anything.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
Jet Ski John, and I know exactly the video that he's on about because I've seen it myself. Saw a video yesterday in India. The refuse truck pulls backwards on a bridge and tips hundreds of bags into the river.
Yeah.
And it's not the fair. I mean, there's something on television on Discovery where a guy was trying to. There's a crocodile or an alligator with his head stuck in a tyre, and it had been like that for a while. I couldn't get the tyre off, and they're trying to catch the crocodile, release him, get her off. But the amount of other rubbish in the river was astronomical, disgusting. So, yes,
well, there was something on the news, and all. It was only last week. It was only on a short piece on the news about all our plastic waste, that we put in our recycle box and all that, gets sent to Turkey to get recycled.
Right.
And some of it's done correctly, but some is basically dumped off for kids to get rid of over in Turkey. And they burn it. The kids burn the plastic. So it's, I don't know, if we've got a government sending plastic to Turkey and not monitoring how it's getting, disposed of, then I think it might be an hard fight we've got.
I agree. And it's a worldwide epidemic, sadly. But at the same time, people have also seen the likes of Venice during the lockdown when there's nobody been around the canals of Venice and everything. All the silt and everything cleared, and it was the clearest they've ever seen it. And it's by hopes that some of the people who have seen these videos and seen the news stories and articles, that they'll take notice of that and realise that that's how things should be, and all that rubbish. Sadly, how many billions of people are on the planet, and how much rubbish and waste do them billions amounts of people make themselves on a daily basis? There's trillions of tons of waste in one way or another. And I understand they're trying to break it apart with your different recycling, your green bin for garden waste, your black bin for non-recyclable, your grey bin for recyclable. I understand they're doing that, but how many fly tippers have you seen on if you've been on Facebook lately, Tommy? The amount of people fly tipping throughout posts on social media. It's everywhere. It's an epidemic.
The thing is, as John said, where there's money involved, you're fighting a losing battle. In one way, I agree with him. But it's like going back to the beginning of the show when he mentioned, the news this week about night hawkers and all that. What will they get? Slap on the wrist, couple of £100 fine, something like that. That's not going to deter them.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's the same with green waste, contaminated waste and all that. They get caught, they get a fine.
Yeah.
It's nothing. I think there was one I read about, he got £200 fine, this contractor. A £200 fine. Oh, he got £4,000 cost though for the court. But it's ridiculous.
We've had a comment from Adrian Gaylor, and this just says it all in one sentence. My local council's rubbish was found in India.
That's it. That's it, innit? Just
Madness.
pass it on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, well, Tommy, we've chatted a lot tonight. It's been great to speak to you finally on obviously face to face. I hope you've enjoyed yourself, and I hope people have listened and people do communicate with the local councils and such like. And as I say, I hope to see some form of campaign progress at a national level and be more highlighted. I'd personally like to see something like a programme like BBC's Inside Out concentrate. But actually, I think that's actually been pulled in different areas. But I'd like to see Inside Out, for instance, take on the debate and go to fields and look at it, get the views of somebody regarding health, somebody regarding metal detecting, the farmer themselves and the companies that do it. I'd like to see all involved and see what happens. But for now, we are as we are, and we just have to continue doing what we're doing, each individually.
That's it. We just got to keep pushing and hope something happens.
So as I say, Tommy, I will put you in communication with William, and you can obviously discuss with what's gone on, and hopefully this could lead us to doing something. The NCMD, the individuals like yourself, the Archaeology magazine, Treasure Hunting magazine, other people within the subject to come together as one and do something very, very beneficial for everybody, for the planet.
Well, the thing is, just a quick mention, the Archaeological Society are actually worried about the contaminated waste and all, because obviously, stuff's in the soil and there could be valuable artifacts in the soil, and this stuff could be corroding them, just breaking them down. So it's to their advantage also.
It certainly is. And I think, it's something, again, we can communicate with British Archaeology and see what they have to say on the matter. And to be honest, Tommy, it's pushing me to actually do something a little bit more, this conversation, talking about it and seeing the comments and obviously hearing William's words in the past, to actually make more of a concerted effort and make it a little bit more transparent from ourselves in what we can do about it. So thank you.
It's even like, you're in the pub having a pint and all that, and just talking to your mates. Do you know what's in what they put on the farmland and all that? They go home and tell the wives. Then the wife, you get women talking, I tell you what, it's faster than the internet. But that's how it's got to go, because they'll be worried about their kids then playing on fields and stuff like that. So, John's just put up.
Unfortunately, it's humans which is going to destroy the planet. The most people we have, the less time on the planet is going to live.
Yeah.
I am moving. There's not much metal to detect up there, John.
I thought he was always spaced out anyway.
Right, so anyway, Tommy, it's been a pleasure having you on tonight. Yeah. Thank you for really coming on and raising the awareness. Obviously, we'll communicate off air as well, via email and whatnot, and hopefully get to meet you in the flesh.
Yeah.
Seeing we're only about 10 miles away from each other.
Yeah, we'll have to get out swinging. Not that swing, you know what I mean.
10 miles away and the internet connection's rubbish. So again, thank you, Tommy, for coming on. It's been great, and it's been thought altering as well. And I believe a lot of people in the chat room, a lot of the viewers will take something away from that, and hopefully do something about communicating with various officialdoms and get some answers and raise the awareness. So it's been brilliant. So thank you very much. Anything you want to add before the end of the show?
No, just go to that unearthed.greenpeace.org and put in salmonella or something like that, and have a read, and then you'll realise, how bad things can eventually get.
Absolutely.
That's it.
Brilliant. Thanks again, Tommy. It's been a pleasure.
It certainly has, Dave.
You take care, my friend, and you certainly will. Take care, my friend.
And you, Dave. Go and have a brew.
Yeah, go and have a brew. I think I'll have a Magnum. That'll sort me out. Well, as I said at the start of the show, it's been a peculiar week in the world of metal detecting. Lots of things that we haven't mentioned because I don't want to go there, to be honest. It's our job to try and make people a little bit more happier, to take them away for a while and, talk about metal detecting as opposed to some of the bad things that are happening. So one of the things we did have to unfortunately communicate to you was that about the rural crime. But let's hope that more, again, people are going to be taking notice and not going out night hawking, because at the end of the day, we've seen what happened to the people last year with their stealing Viking artifacts and selling them. We saw how long they got in prison. So, ladies and gentlemen, it's been fantastic to see you all in the chat room tonight and to speak to Tom. Thank you to Luke in the background, working his magic. Go away, you silly internet, with your stupid breaking up and such like, and pixelating. And we'll be back next week at 8 p.m. with Chris Bailey from the newly launched Diggers Dips. It's not a raffle, it's prize draws. So have a look on there as well. They've got some great prizes and very cheap to enter as well. So again, thank you all. It's been a pleasure. And I hope you all enjoyed the new Detector Network video that was on at the start of the show as well. I'm Dave Sadler. That's Luke Higgins. Good night, everyone.
Wow.